So I just want to read a little bit about black women versus white women in the workplace. Black women are the largest and longest working force in the United States history. That goes back into it goes back into slavery times. Think about it.
Say that sentence again.
So black women are the largest and longest working labor force in the United States.
Wow.
Just, I'll go back over that. I'll talk to you
That makes
later
sense.
about that. White women make 79 cents to every dollar that a white man makes. Black women make 61 cents to 64 cents to the dollar of a white man. And our Latina sisters make 54 cents to every white man's dollar.
Really?
Yes, this is disgusting.
Asians worse.
Black women are excluded at work from groups. They're stereotyped as
Absolutely.
aggressive, angry, ghetto, and of course with a nasty attitude. And that one annoys me. Black women are expected to go above and beyond their job descriptions, while white women tend to only do their job description, or less than. Black women are often micromanaged and watched like a hawk. Black women often don't have allies or mentors in their fields at work, and they're less likely to be promoted. Black women are viewed as workers, and they're rarely viewed as experts in their workplace. So, I want to ask a question. Have you ever heard of the term code switching?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what is your definition
Explain it.
of a code switcher?
So code switching for black women is when we are able to interchange our dialect to make others feel more comfortable about our disposition at work. So we will talk a certain way.
Yep.
We will, talk in a higher tone so we're not, perceived as less
Aggressive.
How are ya?
Yep. Yep.
Seriously.
We'll elongate our words so we sound more intellectual. So, and then when we're with our friends, we talk, the way
What
that.
up?
Exactly.
What's up?
Right.
It's more. It means to embrace the dominant culture or vernacular
Yeah.
in your workplace.
Yeah.
So if it's white, you go with that white culture, and you
Sort of
try to
twang or twang.
exactly.
I don't think that's fair.
No, it's not.
not.
So
It's
I
not
just want to
fair.
ask each of you, since you're talking, I want to know: have you ever experienced anything like this, where
Always.
you do you have a story to tell us?
Oh, of course, me.
All right, Eric, you literally have like a minute. Okay, pumpkin,
Ready, set, go. And so,
Check my phone.
what had happened was
Ew.
no. So, I can tell you recently, I just got a position, and the old coordinator, she shared with me that when she first got on the position, she had sent out a spreadsheet. Now, the college I'm at is definitely predominantly white, unfortunately, but it, they were looking for anything to say because where I work is strictly for minorities. It's
So they
strictly
put a black person there, huh? Little
Listen.
token.
Listen, yeah.
Okay.
So the whole office is minorities. The grant is for minorities.
So you feel comfortable walking in, getting the grant. You're like, I'm amongst friends.
me?
No, I'm just saying the students.
Oh
they
yeah,
come in there.
they feel fine. They're and our grant is for minorities. So if you get on academic probation, it's for minorities. You don't feel like I'm on probation. Like, no, come see me. Let me help you because they not.
Right.
I'm gonna talk real to you because they not. I understand what you're going through because they don't. Like, Johnny, come, come here, sis. Let me talk to you. So it's definitely different. So when she was doing a spreadsheet, literally, they took apart every single student. And the only thing she messed up was having a student's ID number flipped. One student had the number, and all she did was flip them. Gave them the wrong student ID by accident. Copy and paste. You did the spreadsheet wrong. Chopped her a new whole butthole.
Was she black?
Yes,
Oh my
because
Lord.
she's a part of the minority group. But who we still have to present to are from the opposite race,
You can say white.
Caucasian.
You can say
They're white.
They're white.
They're clear, you know. So it was just like, so in her trying to train me, it's like, no, make sure you dot your I's, cross your T's, because the clear people are watching you. I shouldn't have to, and it's unfortunate now being in 2021, I still have to not walk on eggshells to
We haven't overcome yet. So.
to appease
At all.
you. But where we are, I'm sorry, I really think that they need to tell the truth of history, because a lot of what y'all are what they're taking credit for came from us, from the stoplight to the wheels to peanut butter.
I love peanut butter.
Listen,
Yes, she does.
ain't nothing like Skippy, but we created a lot. Washing machines, even the coffee can lid. We created so many intricate parts of history. Tell the truth.
All right, I'm
But
gonna draw you back. I'm
but
gonna draw you
even
back.
with-
So what
even
happened to your friend?
Oh, that
At work.
part. Yeah, cause I'm that
Close.
Cause that it just irks me. Like, why can't we just be who we are and get our credit for what we give back to the society, environment, the
Because
community?
you said the clear people have to micromanage her.
First of all, the clear.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right.
It's
My sis,
even
Chris.
if you go back to, we don't have to go back to those things in history that made us, our
We shouldn't have
contribution.
to.
Because if I can assure you, if you look at our resumes and what we bring to corporations now,
Yeah.
present day, I'm sure we can all say that we've made companies a lot of money, bringing our gifts and talents to them and not being properly compensated for our gifts and our talents.
Yeah.
And
I
it
so
really
agree.
aggravates me that we have to go in there and work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, constantly, like you said, put on the code switching and do
That's
all
what
these
it
things
is.
to prove that you're qualified to do the job. That's overqualified. So you work twice as hard just to get, at the same level. And it's like you don't even have to go to our historical contributions if we just talk about what we bring to the table now.
Yeah.
And most times we talk. I was looking at a TikToker and they was talking about how we the black woman works so hard, and it's like we bring
Extra
our
hard.
A game all the time to companies and corporations, and I'm happy that in this pandemic a number of our sisters have decided not to clock back into a job, and they decided to be their own boss.
Yep.
Because going back to the workplace, you got to know your value, and it's not your value is not always tied into a company.
So what's your story?
I have many stories. I will say recently I had a situation where a patient, I went to go room a patient on video visit, and the patient said, once I finished doing stuff, they said, oh, I hope they're not, I thought I was seeing them today. And the daughter was on there and was like, why? And he was like, because she's black.
Wow.
And I was
Sis,
like, huh?
wait a minute.
I
I'm ready
had
to
them
fight
on
for
mute.
you.
I had them on mute so they know I was listening. And I clutched my invisible pearl, was like, and I went in and I shared with the doctors what had just happened, and I was so grateful that the physician I was with addressed it.
Yeah.
Oh, he said something to the patient?
That it was a
God
female.
bless.
It was a female.
Thank God.
It was a female
Because they don't know
white
how to do
doctor
that.
who came to bat and definitely told the patient in all words, I will not treat you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I will not see you again.
Good.
I will not tolerate that behavior. And she has gained so much respect for me because so many others would have. He denied it. He denied that he said anything.
It's on video.
And
Yeah.
it definitely was heard. But I was so grateful in that moment that she backed me and that because
We're used to being gaslighted.
and you know what's
Yes.
crazy in my position. I could save your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what happens when you know somebody doesn't care for you, but you're
Yeah.
willing to still sacrifice
Yeah.
your life
Your negative
to
opinion
help.
to
Yeah,
help
so it's
them.
like,
Yeah.
so for me, it was like,
Hats
That's
off
crazy.
To you,
Yeah.
'cause
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
got the strength of the Lord, cause baby.
I'm gonna go to Melissa.
Yep, please.
So,
I'd have kicked you.
I'd have killed the baby. Sorry.
So, I mean, for me, as far as my story, it's definitely a position that I was in a few years back. I was working with youth. So, when I started the position as a mentor coordinator, I was making, probably the low end, okay? But that's fine. It was fine for me at the time. Single, no kids, fine. I was making money, whatever. But then I left that position. I left that job. I went to another job. And then I ended up coming back. They hired somebody in my place, a man. And
Was he what?
no, he wasn't white. He was Hispanic. So they hired a man in my place, and I don't remember how I found out, but I just remember somebody telling me that, oh well, they hired him at, I want to say close to $9,000 more per year than what they hired me to do this exact same thing.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I remember it was my old coworker. He told me, and he was telling me that I was doing more work
Oh yeah.
than what this man
Yeah,
had done.
Of course.
All
Who
that man
does?
did while he was there
Yeah.
and working this job,
Yeah.
was looking for another job.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
they get. That's
Right.
exactly what they get.
Right. So when I went back to get that position back, I made sure that they offered me the same amount that they offered that man.
Good for you.
Okay?
Good for you.
Because there's no way I'm going to sit here and do all of this work, do all this, and you're going to overcompensate him for what?
Sitting around looking for
Why?
another job.
Yeah.
Why does he deserve to have more,
Right.
be paid
I
more
can't stand
than...
him. Why are we
Me.
treated like that?
Because
Like,
I'm black.
and
and
one
it
thing I
drives
will
me
say- I'm
nuts.
sorry, one thing I will say
It's not
about
our
women
fault.
in the workplace too is that with salaries, when it comes to salaries, and when you're going in for a job, the studies show that women do not fight
You're right.
for higher salaries.
You're right.
Yeah.
They're gonna take what an employer is gonna offer them.
Yep.
So you have to really counter back and say, you know
Right.
what?
No.
Actually, I'm worth this much more. So, can we talk about this number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work from there.
And you're absolutely right.
Right.
I work on in my position. There's people that make more than me, and you don't. That this is how they get you. You don't know what everybody.
Right.
You
Yeah.
assume
'Cause you're
that
not
everybody's.
supposed to
Yeah.
know.
You
Exactly.
assume that everybody's
Exactly.
making the same
Do your
thing.
research.
So
Yeah.
the
Do
the,
your
the catch
research.
is when you get there and you're doing the same exact job,
Right.
and then
If not harder,
knowing
yeah.
somebody else is getting
Yeah.
more than you, just because.
Because
Just
you
and you don't know the counter
Yeah.
because they say this is what they're offering.
Yeah.
You
Right.
say you so happy to get a job. You just say
Exactly.
sign me
Yeah,
up.
thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Chantel, your turn.
My story, I have a woman that I work with, and she, I don't know if she thinks she's cool switching. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing. She's just making a mockery of herself.
Oh my
But she feels the need to talk to people with Ebonics. And I don't know why, because we're all professionals and we don't speak that way. But she will approach us like, "Hey, girl," and
Can
just
we
it's.
clarify her race?
Oh yeah, she's a Wahite. And
She's a gringo.
yeah, no, she's a white
She's from the
woman,
Caucasus
and,
Mountains.
Yeah,
Hey,
she just does the
okay.
most, and it's really, really annoying.
So how do y'all feel when it's vice versa in the workplace? Because of what you're saying, I'm seeing now more of other races trying to be African Americans
Right, because now
because
it's cool.
we're so.
It's cool now.
I've never. Okay, one thing I've heard from a preacher, I'll never forget it. My husband still laughs about it to this day. Because we're so colorful, if this world was a bowl of mayonnaise, it would
Sorry.
be so boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because we add color, the mayonnaise is trying to attach itself to the sandwich now. And it's like, you're right. Because if you look at commercials, if you look at TikToks, y'all are trying to be us so bad, but you don't like us so much.
Right.
It's jealousy.
And it's like,
You know
it
what's
doesn't,
sad, though?
it don't make sense.
There's a number of white people. I think it's fair to say, not all white people are bad.
Right.
I'm
They're
sorry.
not. They're not.
Not all
Right.
white
They're
people
not.
I don't
just
know.
like us.
Don't know.
Not all white people. No, because I have some people in my life that are now we don't say the same race. They are not white. They're not black. But you cannot convince me that they would not give their life for me if needed be.
Right.
And I'm grateful to have that because I know that not everyone can share that. And at one point in my life, I did not think that.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I always thought that if the chance presented themselves, all white people would choose themselves.
I wouldn't say that.
I thought so too.
I really
just
did.
About
I
it,
thought
but
I thought all white people would just say, throw us under the bus because they would choose themselves. But in it has been proven with recently for me personally, they would sacrifice themselves
That's
to
cool.
save me.
But-
and that's I realize that's a rarity.
Now,
I-
my
now-
question.
hold on. I don't want to cut you off.
Guys.
For time, we're gonna give Kira her space.
Oh, shit.
Alrighty.
So I had a situation where I was working for a company for a couple of years, and then I merged into another role. But in my previous role, I made sure that I had worked extra hard. I was above and beyond. I made sure I went above and beyond for that role. So then it was easy to merge me into the role. So I was told that I would get a certain amount of territory. So I'm thinking, okay, well then with extra territory, extra responsibility, I would get additional pay. And so then in the same time, they were hiring another person for a similar role, but she was new to the company. She was a white woman, and I found out that she was making $25,000 more than I was
Whoa.
making.
She was doing less work.
And not only was she doing less work, but I had to train her on how to do her job in a role that I was new with myself. But they expected me to train her, to groom her, to be like me. But told me that, well, even though we're giving you this responsibility, you have to prove yourself for at least 2 years before we'll give you any additional pay. Even though she came into the company making $25,000 more with no knowledge of the company, no experience, literally nothing.
But did she have degrees behind her? I'm just trying to
They
understand
did say that she had degrees behind her, but those degrees were not relevant to the job.
And you in a
Or your experience.
Or my
Because you're
experience.
just considered a worker.
Yes.
You're not an expert
Yes.
in what you know.
Is
Yes.
the building still standing?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
that happens. Let me tell you, that happens all
Yeah.
All
the
time.
time.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
so
And these companies should be regulated. They should be.
really
They should be
need to
regulated.
And
That's
you know what
not
I learned
fair.
too is that these companies will try to slap on this confidentiality agreement
Yes.
saying you can't disclose your pay, which that's actually against the law to do.
That drives me crazy.
You can
because I feel like-
absolutely disclose your pay to your,
That's
you
dumb.
know, your counterparts.
Yeah.
They cannot
Why?
say what you cannot disclose to them. They're saying that so that they can keep
Keep
the
up with
control
that.
and they can keep control over what you're making and justify what they're making without you knowing. So.
Right,
Okay.
that always drove me crazy.
And
why,
it's so
why is that so
unfortunate.
hidden? Why is that kept so secret? We are
So
all
that
working
they
in the
like
same company.
it's about
Of the
control.
company.
Yeah, it's about control.
It's about
Right,
control.
and they make it such a taboo. Like
And
it's not.
I think they also do that though so that they can work you harder, and you'll never know what that infinite number is.
No.
Right.
I don't
Alright.
even think it's so that they can work us harder. I think they understand we're very passionate with our hands. So whatever our hands find to do, we're going to do it and we're going to perfect it.
They're gonna work you hard.
They're gonna work you hard.
They gonna
No,
work
no,
the
no,
snot
no.
out of
It's
you.
to work you.
They work.
Yeah,
It's
they
they
gonna
work
work
you
you like a-
hard.
What
like
they're
a
saying
mule.
essentially is,
Yeah.
even though you're doing the same thing,
Yep.
even more,
Yep.
you're not even worth the base. You're just worth
Yep.
worth the base. You're not worth
No.
what you're not even worth
No.
the.
It goes back to that
No.
2/3.
Yeah, it goes. It's crazy. You're not. You don't even worth.
I'm gonna share my part, and then we're
We
gonna go
sorry.
into another. Just so for time, we want to keep it. So I have to vent. I've been working for about 30 plus years. I don't care. I am who I am. I'm old as I am.
Dust.
Shut up. No, I'm not old as dust. And no, I didn't go to nursery school with Jesus, like you used to tell me. Anyway, so
With Jesus.
I've had different people change positions and new supervisor come in, and she sat around the table, and she said she was the HNIC.
Oh.
Yes, and she was a white woman.
And she was a white woman. I also have had this week.
You know what it meant?
Yes,
Yes,
did.
she knew it.
Yes, she did.
She
She
knew what
also
it
said
meant.
it a couple times.
Wow.
Anyway, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Never mind, I
Sis
got
about to
you.
get
Yep.
upset.
Okay.
And Shani don't talk, so we just gonna keep going because Shani was.
crazy.
Shani
You know,
don't get.
you know what it means, though, right?
Yeah.
She know what it means. She may not
that's
say
a
the
bold,
word.
That's a bold
but-
move. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I mean,
That's a
I
little
said
bit
it in front of
bold
a group
move.
of,
Yeah.
and they looked at, it was a couple of older white women that looked at her like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Did she get fired?
No,
No.
no, 'cause, I didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
So that was my fault. Anyway,
I'm about to wipe
also,
that eyeshadow off your eyes.
I'm gonna get you. I have a switch with your name on
Because
it.
why wouldn't you say something?
Because
Because
she said
you
it in a
can't
room of-
you even have to be careful how you address what they do to
Exactly.
you. You become
Because
a
we're used
troublemaker.
to- right?
Exactly.
We're
And then
honestly,
it's their word against
Exactly.
yours.
And
And she, the older women were on their way out, and
Yeah.
they would have been like, you know what, it's none of my business, and
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything.
True,
Yeah.
that part. Okay.
So anyway, this week, I was referred to. A patient asked if I was the colored girl in the office,
Jesus Christ.
and I almost lost my mind. So we still have a ways to go. We have not overcome completely. We're getting there, but it's not there. And as Black women, we really, we have to fight for what's ours. Especially just, my father-in-law, I've heard him tell us that you got to know your worth.
Yeah.
And you have to
Yeah.
fight for what you're worth.
And
And
I-
don't settle for, I didn't mean to cut you off, but don't settle for that little bottom line that they give you.
Yeah.
Go way over their heads
And
because
I'm sorry, I didn't
you're
mean to cut you off.
good, you're good.
I was just gonna say that I think sometimes as Black women, we are so afraid of having that stigma as being angry
Mhm.
that we avoid conflict in the workplace, and so we essentially take the abuse because
You don't want to
we don't want to be
labeled.
gaslighted and,
Yep.
and made to seem as being angry or the troublemaker, because
Okay.
I know oftentimes, I can relate to your situation.
Mhm.
I was often labeled as being loud, the troublemaker, the little pit bull, because I'm like, no, this is not right, especially when I was speaking up for others, than when I would see wrongdoing for people that looks like me,
So look at the way they're tearing up Simone Biles. I mean, this girl has been through
They
hell,
killing baby.
and they don't get it.
They killing
And
her.
this woman said, I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I mean, and I've heard people in my office say, oh my God, she gave up. And then they'll tighten up when they see me. And I'm like, you know what? Y'all she's working for free.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's right there.
And, I almost forgot. She got raped by the United States doctor that they put in
Olympics doctor,
as
right.
the Olympics doctor.
Yes.
Nasty Larry Nasser.
Yeah.
And she's gone through so much, and she said for her mental health, let me pull back. And how can y'all remember a time where on your job you said, you know what, for my mental health, I know all y'all got a story in this room.
Oh yeah.
And to say that, I just feel
We
for
do it
her.
all the
I feel for
time.
this girl, and she said, let me pull back, and these people are coming after her.
I can't even do a cartwheel, right?
Yeah, right.
Real talk.
That part.
So for her to even be on this world stage and have
free.
to perform
Right.
the way, and then know that she was in the Olympics before, and know that the expectation is that she's going to be flawless.
She's
Right.
the best.
Right.
So she's going to be flawless. And
they're
for her
trying
to
to
say,
take it from her.
listen,
Yeah.
this time around, I'm not really in the game.
Yeah.
But you know
I
what?
can't do it. If I do it, I'm going to hurt myself.
But she
I
has
think-
though. She has.
Yeah, and I think she did the best
Yeah.
thing for herself.
She
But
pulled
you know what's
out.
funny for me though is the fact that I feel like white women are able to
Yep, I
have
quit.
that moment.
I quit.
They're able to be a victim or have those
Be
days where
vulnerable.
be vulnerable,
And she
right?
wasn't.
Yeah.
And I
Black
feel like
women
these
cannot.
same conversations
No.
would not be happening if she was white at
That's
all.
the same
Absolutely
thing
not.
with,
They would be
Naomi
granting
Osaka.
her grace. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yep.
They would be
Yep.
granting her grace, but we're expected.
You know why?
To
Because
just work
you
until
should
we
be
die.
appreciative that you're even
Right,
here.
Yeah.
right.
So you need to take advantage of the fact that you
Right.
even made it.
Right.
But
Like,
and the
goes
funny
back.
thing is, even with stuff like that, be grateful because we gave you an opportunity. First of all,
You didn't give her anything.
Cut
She
the
worked
crap.
for that.
cut the crap. Because if we, like, I'm sorry, go back to history. You're the minority. Truth be
Yeah.
told,
Yeah.
if you really rewrite history,
Yeah,
you're the minority.
yeah. I just
Not us. You're the minority. And at this point, you're just scared. Because you know what we come with.
We're gonna wrap this up. What were you saying?
So I was just gonna say, it goes back to that conversation about being that strong black woman.
right.
Everybody expects you to be that strong black
Right.
woman. Push through. You know, like you were saying, if she had been another race, they would have given her grace and would have backed off and said,
Yeah.
okay, you know what, give her her space.
Yeah.
Let her take this rest. But no, because she's a black woman, she's expected to go out there and perform and do
Yep.
her best and be flawless.
And don't complain.
But you know what? At
Shut
the
up
end of the
and
day,
don't complain.
anyways,
Right.
regardless if she would performed or not, she would have whooped everybody asses anyway.
Yeah.
She's still the
So-
best.
She's
so
still
she's
doing
the best.
She's
Yeah.
still
She's
the best.
But,
Yeah.
for,
You
but
know?
to dumb down who you are is like, we've done that enough. Like, how do you
Yeah.
ask somebody, hey, dumb down your performance so that your team and everybody else isn't intimidated and they all win the same level? We're not in grammar school.
Yeah,
This
but
is
it's
not-
only because, and that's the other thing too, because if the shoe was on the other foot,
They wouldn't have
they
done
would not
that.
care. They would
They
not
wouldn't
care.
have done
They
it.
would not
Little
care.
Becky would have did an extra flip to
Yeah.
earn extra little
Yeah.
10 points.
Yeah.
And that would have been, look at Becky. Like,
Yeah.
come on, don't do that.
Yeah,
We've
But I
been
think
dumbed
they
down a
they
lot.
sabotaged her from the very beginning.
Yeah.
With that
That's
comment
okay.
about
People, we know better.
judging her on her what is it, potential talent, what
Yeah.
she
She is a
you
goat.
know,
She is a
Yeah.
goat.
she is
She is the greatest of all time.
Like, don't do that.
Absolutely.
And I think we're at the point of just being tired.
yeah.
All of us. And that's a wrap.